Picture this. You get yanked out of your world and dropped into a magical fantasy land. You're the hero, the chosen one. Except your only superpower is dying, horribly. And your epic quest is basically to see how much psychological agony one person can endure before their mind just shatters. Welcome to the life of Natsuki Subaru, the universe's favorite punching bag. In the massive, ever-growing genre of isekai, the formula is usually pretty simple. Some regular person gets transported to another world, gets awesome powers, and becomes a hero. ReZero, starting life in another world, takes one look at that formula, douses it in gasoline, and lights it on fire with a sadistic grin.
Do you know what we do to kids who start from zero in another place, country, another world?
You give them delicious chocolates. This isn't delicious chocolate!
This isn't your average power fantasy. It's a front row seat to a psychological horror show disguised as a fantasy adventure. Our hero, Subaru, is a shut-in gamer who's just somehow gets the power of return by death. This lets him reset time to a previous save point every time he's killed. The catch? He remembers every single gruesome, traumatizing detail of his own death, while everyone else's memory gets wiped clean. But this story isn't just about one broken guy. It's about an entire world of characters who are just so profoundly damaged, so full of trauma and neurosis, that they basically make Subaru's suffering a group activity. But the real psychological horror of his power, it's how utterly lonely it is. Now, Subaru isn't suffering in a vacuum. He's surrounded by a cast of characters who are just as, if not more, psychologically fractured than he is. First up is Emilia, the silver-haired half-elf who is the main focus of Subaru's affection. She's a candidate for the throne, but honestly, she spends most of her time either emotionally distant or dealing with the fact that she looks exactly like the universally feared Witch of Envy. Imagine trying to run for president when you have the face of the world's most hated historical figure. Her self-esteem is in the gutter, and her grip on the political situation is shaky at best, which often leaves her as a damsel in distress that Subaru has to die for, repeatedly. Then you have the twin maids, Rim and Ram. Ram is a deadpan cynic whose main purpose seems to be delivering soul-crushing insults to Subaru, but it's Rim who really takes the cake for emotional whiplash. In one timeline, she brutally tortures and murders Subaru because he has the scent of the witch on him. In the next, after he saves her, she becomes his most devoted follower, delivering one of the most heartfelt confessions of all anime history. We also have Beatrice, a centuries-old librarian who's been locked in a magical library, waiting for some prophesied person to finally release her from an eternal lonely contract. Her entire personality is built on profound abandonment issues, all hidden under a sarcastic, grumpy exterior. And let's not forget Rosewall, a flamboyant, clown-faced mage who's secretly pulling everyone's strings. He has a magical book that tells him the future, and he is so slavishly devoted to it that he'll orchestrate the deaths of his own allies just to make sure events happen as foretold. If you think the heroes are a mess, just wait until you meet the villains. The main antagonists are the Witches' Cult, a group of fanatics who are less of an evil organization and more like a traveling circus of homicidally insane. The poster boy of this cult is Beetlejuice Romani Conti, a man whose sanity is about as flexible as his spine. He contorts his body, screams about sloth, and commands invisible hands that can turn people into mangled heaps of flesh. He's terrifying, but he's just an appetizer. There's Regulus Cornelius, the Archbishop of Greed, an egomaniac whose authority makes him invincible as long as he's being selfish. There's Lai Bontian Cantas, or something like that, the Archbishop of Gluttony, who literally eats people's names and memories, erasing them from reality itself. And then there's Sirius, the Archbishop of Wrath, who can forcibly share emotions and injuries among a crowd, turning one person's pain into a citywide symphony of agony. These villains don't want to conquer the world. They exist simply to spread suffering and test the absolute limits of Subaru's will to live. Ultimately, the problem isn't just the people. It's the world itself. The very rules of ReZero seem engineered to create misery. Subaru's save points aren't chosen by him. They're set by some unseen, possibly malevolent force. He might die and respawn right before before a disaster, giving him a chance, or he might respawn after a critical event. The witch's scent that clings to him after each death makes him a walking target. It's an invisible mark that makes powerful beasts and paranoid individuals instantly hostile, often getting him killed before he even understands what's happening. Every time Subaru thinks he's finally found a path to a happy ending, the world throws another impossible challenge at him. Another archbishop, another ancient curse, another swarm of killer bunnies. It constantly proves that in this world, hope is just the setup for the next punchline. This show is a masterclass in twisting a power fantasy into a deep, painful character study. It truly asks what it means to be a hero when all you can do is fail, suffer, and try again. But what do you think? Who in the cast of ReZero needs the most therapy, and why is it probably Rosval? Let me know your diagnosis down in the comments below. And if you enjoy deep dives into psychological train wrecks of anime, think about subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss the next breakdown.